She's a software engineer, Wikipedia editor, and creator of Web3 is Going Just Great, a website cataloging grifts in blockchain, crypto, and the NFT world. Please welcome Molly White. Hi.
Yay.
Molly, so good to have you here to explain a lot of this. I really like your site, and I want to talk to you about it. Okay, just explain Web3 is Going Great, but really, what the hell is Web3 for people who don't know, and what do you guys track on your site?
Yeah, so I guess we'll start with Web3 is basically the idea that the new web, the future of the web as we know it, will be based on blockchains. And so everything that you do online will involve a cryptocurrency or an NFT, or your data will all be stored on the blockchain instead of with Google or those types of things. And my website, Web3 is Going Just Great, tracks how what has been sold to us as the future of the web and the future of even humanity itself is not going very great. It has been just disaster after disaster. And so I sort of have used my site to just chronicle every hack and scam and just terrible idea in some cases that we've been seeing, both in Web3, but also in crypto more generally.
If you can remember, what's one of the worst ideas in the Web3 world? That there have been a lot of dumb ones. What's one of anything come to mind as like one of the dumbest you've tracked?
There's a recent one that definitely springs to mind. It was called the Feminist Metaverse, and the idea was not very clear. I don't know if they know what they wanted to do, but the idea was that they were going to fix gender inequality in the metaverse. And so even if you're oppressed in real life, you won't be oppressed in the metaverse, I think. And also if you're pregnant, it won't matter, was kind of the big one.
I'm pregnant. What does that mean? It won't matter? Like you can just be unpregnant there? Like I can get an abortion in the metaverse?
I think it was like no one will know, so you can't be discriminated against or something. It was very unclear exactly. The whole white paper read very much like it was written by a man. And probably like an anti-feminist maybe.
Right. If you're in the metaverse, then we won't want to rape you.
Yeah, it said something about how they will greatly reduce the impacts on women's normal or on women's work and inequality in wages brought on by their physiological differences and pregnancy, which is that's not something any feminist has ever said.
Whoa. Well, so they're just saying, well, because it's not real life. Is that?
I guess.
And so invest now.
Well, and then unfortunately, my involvement with this was not writing about how bad of an idea the project was. It was writing about how they had $500,000 stolen from them in a hack.
Oh, wow.
Which is very common. I wanted to, before we talk about like the regular crashes, like the boom and bust of the market in crypto, I wanted to ask you about scams. So I was just reading last year, in like 7 months, apparently crypto accounted for $681 million in scam losses. You guys reported actor Seth Green just got hacked for like some ape NFTs, 4 of them because of a phishing scam. How easy is it to actually hack and phish in the crypto world in Web3?
I often question why I've decided to just write about it instead of going into that field myself, because it seems to be extremely easy to do. It happens constantly, like multiple times a day.
Which is insane to me. Like that it, like the promise of crypto that it is safe is one of them, is that it's safer, right? That's sort of like one of the primary ones. And yet you got random phishing, like you need to reset your password. Like, okay, like why not? Like,
no.
It is, and even like Seth Green's not even that old. I'm just like, it seems it's so ripe for that. Okay, so let's talk about the crash. Let's talk about like the actual what's going on now. Cryptocurrency has been crashing. Without getting into too many of the, I find them incredibly boring details of like, what is Terra or whatever. Do you think these bubbles and bursts and the bull and bear market swings of crypto, is that part of a pattern that you see? Like, is this going to get even worse? Or is it like, no, it's just this one time, it's fine?
I mean, just look at the Bitcoin price chart over history, and you'll see that this has happened several times now, where Bitcoin has, gone very high in price and then crashed back down, and then, people get interested again, and it goes way back up, and then it crashes back down. And I think, it's kind of the only thing you can expect to have happen from a technology that is basically reliant on enough people believing that it has value, buying into it, and then as it, the value starts to go up and up and up, more and more people buy in, and so it goes up and up and up. But what always happens with speculative manias, and we've seen this in history with tulips and beanie babies and all kinds of different things, is once that sort of inflection point is hit and people start to go, wait, does this actually have value? And then they start selling, everyone starts selling, and then it crashes down, and you wait till the next time, I guess.
have I bought in a lie? Is this all a lie? You just wake up in the middle of the night and start selling. And yet I want to ask you, I mean, it might seem to be obvious, but who have you seen is the most affected with and by these crashes in such a volatile currency?
I mean, it's pretty much always the people who have too much money into crypto that they can't afford to lose. So, there are obviously huge investors that get into it. There are, venture capitalists that are playing around with it. And sure, they lose money, but, they are used to losing money to some extent. They can usually handle the risk. My heart does not exactly bleed for them. I did not create the website because I'm so worried about the future of venture capitalists. But what we see really when these things happen is that the people who are truly, majorly affected are people who did not have a ton of money to begin with, and who often were sold basically a lie that this is a stable way to store your money in some cases. We saw that with the stable coins, especially, that people were told, yeah, you can use it like a bank account. But, also just people who were told that, working your 9-to-5 job is not gonna, change your place in the world. It's not gonna make you suddenly able to send your kids to college. So you have to do something risky, and crypto is the way to do that, and you can make a ton of money. And so people do, and they put their money in, and then when something like this happens, they're the ones who are left with nothing.
Right. And can I ask you, why did you actually start the website? Like, why did you get interested in this? And also, has it been hard? Meaning, have you been on the receiving end of like trolling and folks angry at the kind of tracking that you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, I started the website largely for the reason I just mentioned, which is that, crypto in its early days often was really just kind of on the fringes. And so the people who were putting money into it tended to be the people who were already willing to put their money into sort of risky speculative schemes, and generally had some idea of what the actual risk was. Or it was the technologists who were interested in it for, technological reasons, or it was like the libertarians who wanted to, see the end of fiat currency. And like all of those people, I kind of was like, you know what, do your thing. Not a huge concern for me. I'm not super interested. But when I started to see it being branded as like Web3, it'll be the future of the web, everyone will be using it. Your grandma should put her money into crypto. That was when I decided, I really felt like I needed to start paying attention to it and speaking out against it, because it's, there was this very huge shift where it was basically, we were seeing it being mainstreamed, the crypto ads at the Super Bowl, and, ads on the side of buses in London, and, things like that, where it was really trying to get the average person to put their money in. And I was like, I don't think you're seeing what I'm seeing on this side, which is just scam and hack and scam and, all these different things.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot to take on. That's like a responsibility though. Like, I'm like, I see a lot of stuff, but don't start websites that then like whistle blow and collect all those kinds of stories, you know? So I just hats off and thank you for doing
Mhm.
this kind of work.
Yeah, well, for sure. It's a weird interest, I guess. I find some amusement in doing it as well. So
What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/bitchuation room. Do it.